Hi, and welcome to Tales from the DevOps Loop. We're looking at 4 teams and 1 framework. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Denver Martin. I am currently the Director of DevSecOps at Thread Research. Thread Research is a clinical trial company. We specialize in doing distributed clinical trials for pharmaceutical and medical devices. We have participants in studies that happen all around the world. So we are continually improving, looking to make DevSecOps the best practice to follow for this type of work. Additionally, I am an adjunct professor with Purdue University Global. I've taught IT courses there since 2005. It is Purdue's online institution for delivering high quality education to adult learners as well as traditional college students that prefer to do online or distance education. I've also started work on my doctorate of business administration. It is an executive MBA program from the Crummer Graduate School, part of Rollins College in Winter Park, Florida. My dissertation topic will include information surrounding DevOps, the implementation of DevOps, and the use of disruptive technologies like cloud technologies, SRE teams, containers with Docker and Kubernetes. So it is a great program if you've got an idea of how you'd like to add to and continue to improve business across your organization or across business in almost any industry and landscape. Having said that, I am coming to you live or tonight from one of the classrooms that we have available for students and instructors to use. So let's get started and kind of look at one of the implementations that I've been part of. I've been part of several implementations of DevOps at several companies. This is not my current implementation that I'm working on. This is a previous one at one of my previous employers. And it successfully shows how a movement into DevOps can be done. And I'm not saying that this is the way to do DevOps at every institution. I've actually implemented it in different ways at each of the institutions that I've worked on, based on their company culture, the individuals that we have assigned within the teams and at various roles. And you do need to do an assessment, if you will, as to what do you think would work in terms of adoption. So with that, let's look at this particular implementation of how DevOps was successfully rolled out within an organization. So with that, I'll go ahead and show you some of the information I have. So what we'll do is we'll start off with a little bit of background in general, and then we'll talk about the leaders and teams, and then we'll come around to ways of working. And this is the ways in which we had to change, the ways that we were able to have success happen amongst the 4 different teams. And ultimately, they all ended up being part of the same enterprise framework for the way that we've implemented DevOps. So the 4 teams started off as almost like an independent journey, if you will. So with that, what we ended up looking at is we had 3 operations teams and 1 development team. Not to say that that development team was just one group of development. The development team actually included all of the development groups that were inside of that area. So that actually became a pretty large team, but development started their own journey of going through DevOps, ironically without operations involved. However, operations did quickly catch up, and we did end up being able to share the common tools and being able to move forward together. But it started off very much like a silo with each of the groups kind of doing their own thing. So in that, let's talk a little bit about operations. At that time, operations included working long hours, being on call, having people very burnt out, running from one fire to the next, and really no relief in sight. we had the fortunate good luck of a executive member, a senior director who eventually became a VP, had the idea of not only moving all the production systems and all the development systems and all the operation systems from an on-prem self-hosted cloud into AWS cloud, which gave us an easier time, better standards of quality, and relieved us from the day-to-day operations of having to maintain our own cloud fleet in regards to the hardware. So this was a very wise move in our part. You could go to other cloud platforms if you felt that you had enough skill set in that. So that could include looking at Google Cloud Platform, even Oracle Cloud infrastructure, or even Microsoft's Azure product, if that is the one that you like. We settled on or agreed to AWS as being our cloud platform of choice. And so what we'll do is we'll now step through this a little bit and talk a little bit more about the individual teams here. And the slides do have a little bit different information. I didn't want to read those verbatim to you, so definitely it's good information if you wanted to share, but actually listening and observing this is going to be something that you'll actually take away a little bit more. So if we look at leaders and teams, team one is how I'll identify them. They were an operations-based team. They predominantly worked on the network infrastructure. Their team size was 9 members, 7 of them in the US, 2 of them were in India. They did provide worldwide coverage. And with that,